Johnson conducted a more competitive practice on Wednesday than was designed to test what players have learned to this point. They ran situational drills for all types, generally in 11-on-11 situations. The biggest part of it, those sessions were unscripted. Saying this, really everything that had been instilled over the last few weeks was up. And we'll see the tape to see who handled it and who didn't, Ben Johnson said. Some guys did better than others. You could tell out there, but it was good to see. It felt more like football, even though we didn't have pads on. All right, listen, I'm not saying that this is something that other coaches have not done. I don't even know. For all I know, every coach could do a little bit of this at some point in practice, in training camp and mini camps. But listen, the fact that Ben Johnson came out here and ran, one, a more competitive practice than they were already expecting. Two, nothing was scripted. So they didn't script anything. That is huge. That really does do a good job at testing, all right, who's really grasping this playbook. And this is early in training camp to be doing that because I think everybody's still kind of learning and adapting to the playbook on both sides of the ball. We've heard offensive players and defensive players both talk about how in-depth and complex the playbooks that we have here is. And I already know my boy Darius is about to get triggered and say, oh my God, like Darius, he's from Texas, so he just likes really simple things. He doesn't like players playing out of position. He doesn't like, trick plays because he thinks they're gimmicky, even though, we've seen them to be able to be used in the NFL as long as you don't over-rely on them. And nonetheless, the fact that Ben Johnson already with the complex playbook is looking at his team and saying, all right, we want to see who's really adapting to this. And I don't think it's like a trick to like go off on anybody or anything like that, even though we know Ben Johnson's very passionate. He's still stopping practice when things aren't aligned. He stopped practice yesterday to talk to Caleb Williams on a misread. So, those things are there and he's still doing that coaching thing. But this just goes to show how Ben Johnson is really living up to basically all the hype so far that he can. I mean, you can only live up to it so much in a mini camp. It still matters when you're in between those lines and on Sunday and the game's going on. But Ben Johnson is thinking about this he's playing 3D chess right now to see who, and it didn't even say we're going to go back, look at the tape. We're going to see who did good, who handled it well, because that tells you, all right, maybe this is the player that when they're working with their positional coaches, we need to go over this a little bit more. And that's the point. That's why you have practices together. That's why you have positional coaches. That's why you have all of that. And Ben Johnson said it when he came in here. It's not about a win later thing. They do want to win now. Why can't they win now?